Let's start with the small guy first.
Okay, Trillium.
The one that has all the, as Jeff put it earlier, semen in it.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Another episode of the Hoppy Craftsmen. Who are we here with today?
I'm Chris.
I'm Jeff.
Yep, we got Jeff back. Jeff's back one more time, or for how long? Probably forever.
Probably forever at this point.
Probably for not allowed to ever leave.
Yeah.
At least it's all right. That's all right with you, Jeff.
Until I die, or you find someone better.
Perfect. There we go. Starship Troopers. That's all we need.
We had to do it.
That's all we need.
Had to do it.
Yep. Welcome back.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. We actually feel it's felt like a while since we've been actually kind of in this.
Sat down.
Yeah, we actually sat down, did our normal kind of BS and kind of bullshit stuff. So
the last time we did this, we were at Richter, and we can't fuck off at Richter. We had to look like we knew what we were
professional.
doing. Yeah.
That felt pretty much like fucking off to me.
Pretty much the same. Yeah.
We just couldn't completely bullshit anything because you were there with guys who actually knew.
Yeah, exactly.
You could call us out for like,
right.
You guys are idiots.
You say something like, "I can tell what IBU's in this beer. Don't worry about it."
Like 1 million.
1,000 IBUs.
Yeah, roughly.
You're like more.
Yeah.
I don't know, less.
More than 1, less than 100. So.
Very cool. So what's been? Well, we actually are drinking a beer. I guess we should go on that first, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. And it's been an Arizona weekend.
It really has been.
Hit up a bunch of local breweries, and starting off with one of just tip top right now, the beers they're making. It seems like every one of them, every time I go there, just delicious. Wren House.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Wren House. And we're drinking the peaches and cream. And how did we get this can?
And this actually just got released
2 days ago.
2 days ago, right?
Friday. That's right. Friday at lunchtime. Sneak release. I love that they're doing it during the week because it is good when you know about it. But by the time, I don't know how I missed it, but by the time I knew about it, it was sold out.
Right.
So, so then how did we get this beer is a great question.
So we're getting ready to go do festivities up in Flagstaff, which we'll get to later in the podcast.
Yeah, a little later.
But Drew Poole over at Wren House hit us up on Messenger asking us if we got some of the peaches and cream. And I think with everything that we had going on in our non-podcasting lives and other releases that were going on at the same time, we didn't hit it. So I think we all pretty much surrendered to the fact that one was done because the Wren House releases usually go.
Right.
But how badass for Drew to leave us a can. I mean, Jeff, you said it in there.
Yeah, huge thanks. It's...
Set on the tag podcast dudes.
Podcast dudes.
That's the funny part, right?
It's like we're really fucking making it now, dudes.
Like you said, so Jeff said
really
when you showed up and you said, "You have a beer for me," and he's like, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
Right? What was the?
Yeah, it's like I started. It's like, well, it's probably under Hoppy Craftsmen, but I'm Jeff, and he's there's like 2 crowlers in this fridge. He's like, "Nope, don't see it." I was like, "Well, it's for a podcast." He's like, "Here it is. It says podcast dudes right here."
Perfect. We're fucking making it, boys.
Excellent.
we're getting brewers, and we're getting these breweries to leave us beer.
We do a podcast.
We're making it.
We'll take it.
And now we're dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
My wife actually said we should. That's our new name for the podcast. In case you're wondering, we should just rebrand right now.
What's
podcast
that?
dudes.
Podcast dudes. Hoppy podcast dudes.
Nope.
No, that's it.
And I said same show, same topic, new title. Same bitchy attitudes.
Ooh, perfect.
So
we got our logo, just podcast dudes on a handwritten tag.
Yeah.
Before this started under podcast dudes, we could totally bring up a Tim Allen segment. I mean, we could make that work. In a beer podcast, it really doesn't work. We have to move on almost immediately from something like that.
So the hard part is we all have beards. So we'd never be actually Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'd all be Al. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. So, yeah, I love flannel.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's perfect.
In Arizona,
and
who
doing
doesn't?
Stupid shit. So it's like I'm both. So it's perfect. But anyway, so that's super cool of those guys to leave us this beer, and it's good. It's great.
So what is it? Like, what is the style of the beer?
It's a whole bunch of notes on the front of this thing.
Let's grab that and go through it. Let's give it its due.
Yeah. Peaches and cream. It's a 6.6%. It's peaches and cream IPA. 55 IBUs. It's a hazy IPA with peaches, lactose, vanilla, bittering dry hops, bittering and dry hop, Citra, and Centennial.
Very nice.
That's awesome for him to write that info on here like that, man. That's killer. It is a good beer. We stopped in town yesterday just to grab one because we weren't sure we were going to be able to get one.
Right, the cans.
It's good.
This is the first time I'm having it. I really like it a lot. I mean, color wise, it's definitely, I mean, that hazy trend right now. It's hazy.
Looks like peaches and cream, man. It's kind of cool.
Right. That's a great name for it. Very golden, very hazy. A little bit, like most of these beers, not a ton of head on them, which is nice.
Yeah, I like it. First impression, it tastes kind of more kind of lemon meringue-ish to me, because the citrus and the hops come through. But the more you drink it, I'm getting a lot more of. I don't want to say a lot more because I'm not getting it doesn't have like an in your face like peachy.
Totally,
the peach is a very subtle afterthought in this beer, and I hear peach anything unless it's a peach, I get turned off.
Yeah, fuck so super scared.
I tried drinking anything, eating anything, tasting anything peach. And you get hit with kind of like that artificial like Jolly Rancher peachy thing,
right?
And yeah, it's finished. But yeah, this is very subtle. I get that peach and that vanilla right up front.
So how about the aroma? What do you guys get? Anything?
That's I was gonna say when I smell it, I smell the peaches when I smell it. And I've never had a beer with that. At least called out to me with the lactose like that.
Right.
So I'm not even sure what kind of flavors that introduces.
More sugars.
Right, and I'm sure it's got, I don't know if it has effect on mouthfeel, or anything like that, but I don't know, it's a killer beer. And, and like Jeff just said, this is the second time Ren's done that to me,
right?
House, with the names like peaches and the descriptors on their beers like that. I'm like, peaches, and the other one was the Miss Poncho with the plum and the peach and plum. That beer is fucking phenomenal. It's great. And the way they bring those flavors or the way they introduce those flavors, the way you want to drink a beer with those kind of flavors through, the hop additions or whatever they've done.
Right. I mean, I think if any beer that's not maybe a sour or a kind of framboise, like something that's like made for that fruity style. Yeah. I want something more in the back seat when it comes to the fruit flavor of the stuff. I want it to be just kind of mellow. I can kind of taste it there a little bit or slightly hidden maybe, depending on what the fruit is.
How'd you introduce that flavor?
Right.
Did you take a bunch of extract and put it in there, or or in this case?
I mean, you could probably put it in a grain bag and then actually let it dry hop almost with the it's fermenting the second day or something like that. That a little bit would come to it. I don't know if I'd actually maybe puree they actually peaches at that point.
But I mean, I think the way these guys and the way we've talked about in the past, the way Wilderness bring those flavors, it's just such a nice way to drink this beer.
Yep. Well, I'm sure it has to do a lot with the peaches too, right? Yeah. Because there's certain peaches that are just super crazy peachy, and other ones are just kind of mellow. So I'm sure that helped a lot too. The smell is really good to me too. I think I get a little bit of the peaches more of that than I actually get in the flavor of the beer. What do you guys mouthfeel wise? What do you guys feel? Is it? I mean, the lactose. Do you think the lactose actually gives it any mouthfeel? I mean, for you at least.
Yeah. No. It does. It just feels thick. It just feels a little. I don't know.
Thicker because
it's definitely got a lot more body to it than a standard IPA offering. The carbonation again it's on point. A lot of these guys, it's not overly fizzy. It's not flat. It's almost like that perfect balance between none and too much.
I'm almost getting grapefruity rind at the end. Yeah, kind of the finish for it.
Yeah,
get a little bit of that for it.
Yeah. They really balance this one out well.
It is a great beer.
Yeah. And definitely, I mean, this is up your alley because I feel, even with the lactose, not very malty, not very sweet. It's just
it's true.
And it sucks. We always talk about it.
Super well balanced.
Balanced. Yeah. I hate throwing that around, but it is. It's a very well balanced beer. I mean, it's definitely.
Well, some people find well balanced beer to really almost seem hop malt forward, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean? Balanced is a very opinionated descriptor too, right? Totally. Because it could be balanced for you, but not for me because I want to be. So I think. That's why I hate using that word. I hate you saying balanced because it doesn't necessarily mean anything to everybody else. It's what it means to me. So
yeah, no, it's a killer beer and it tastes incredible. And the finish on it is super clean. And also at the finish is sometimes where you kind of get that peaches flavor. But I love that it's called Peaches and Cream. It's got big old awesome label with peaches on it. But the way they introduce those flavors is it's really just subtle. Really good hazy IPA with those kind of peaches flavors.
Yeah, and to me, balance is if someone is going out of their way to name something like it's peaches and cream. Right. So when I drink that, I'm expecting to smell or taste peaches and cream. At the same time, it's an IPA. Yeah. So I want there to be hoppiness, some of that either the piney or celery-ish or really citrus hoppiness. A little bit of bitterness. So the fact that all those things kind of come out of this and not one of them is overpowering any of the other ones. That's that balance to me.
Okay.
You can taste all of the different dimensions of what an IPA is, and that there's peaches, and that there's vanilla and lactose. I mean, you get like that creamy kind of mouthfeel and taste.
Nice.
You get that vanilla.
Yeah.
They nailed this one.
Yeah, and it's it's the third Brent House beer I've had in like 3 days that it's just nailed it. Just so good.
Yeah, they're doing good stuff over there. Like I said, I don't know if you guys you've been there because you went and actually picked the stuff up, Jeff, and then Nate, you were there last night. You said so.
This is actually my first Ren House beer, first time being in there picking it up. So
okay,
you can see them basically blowing up.
It's a good start.
The Phoenix beer scene, and I'm not disappointed.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good. I guess this is a very good introductory beer into the Ren House beers in general. They said some of their beers not. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of them. They're not bad by any means. It's not my kind of thing. But I've had definitely a lot more beers that I liked from them that I not like. So
there's well, I think you could say that for any brewery that's blown me away. There's been a couple on the board where I was like, oh, that's not my style.
Right.
But I was gonna say. For Ren House, Jeff, you said that was the first time you've been there. You picked up you said you picked up another crowler while you were there, right? The night.
I got the night on the sun.
Yeah, the black currant Berliner Weiss, the black currant sour they have right now.
Yeah, that looked really good. And then you checked it out, Nate, on Instagram earlier. Yeah, it looked really good. So now I'm kind of jealous. Kind of excited to go pick one up.
Fruity and tart and really good. So it's just they're making awesome beers like that. I love the beers that Arizona's doing right now. Period. Just as a state.
So Ren House itself, though, is a house, right? It's over. It is a
teeny little house over on wherever 24th Street or something like that.
I think 24th Street, just south of Thomas.
Yep.
Right. So we're south or north of Thomas.
I don't know. It's just north of the highway right there.
Right.
But I was gonna say, having been there 3 times now. Okay, all right. The first time I went there, the parking lot fucking blew.
It is a tiny parking lot.
The second time, I got like a crazy awesome luck with the spot in the front.
Okay.
And then the third time last night, we had to do some circles. But now knowing where to go and what to do, it's not too bad. It's pretty.
So I guess
knowing the streets and the spots, but you can never figure that out the first time you go.
Right. I mean, that's any place, though, right? You kind of have to feel out, especially some place that's more of a urban kind of place. You have to kind of feel out where you need to go, when you need to be.
Because they've got the little auxiliary lot, and like me and Jeff were talking about, well, we have a pickup in an SUV. We wouldn't even try,
right?
Unless it was like drive right in.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking going in there today. That the lot on the side that looks like it's outside the actual brewery. I drive a Tahoe, and the entrance to that, and I was thinking if there were any other cars in here, and there was someone trying to get out while I was trying to get in, or vice versa, you're screwed.
Right. And
nothing against the brewery, because you go find real estate and where you want to set up shop. You don't have a whole lot of say unless you're breaking ground. So again, I think it still fits that horrible parking at microbreweries in the Phoenix area mold, but. I thought it was real big of them because we've had this conversation about the can release. So with this one, I thought it was really cool on Ren House's part to publish a map saying, "Here's all the places you can park.
Right?
Be prepared." And I mean that's. They're listening, obviously, because we can't be the only people that think that the parking at these places is horrible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's being a brewer and having so many limited choices of where you can actually like brew beer and have some kind of like facility besides having a tasting room that's auxiliary to like your main production place. You're kind of limited to parking in general. You're kind of...
They got to get their employees to park. Well, I'm sure they're automatically telling their employees not to park anywhere on the premises just to help out with that problem.
Yep.
So, once I figured out the little streets behind it, I was like, oh, this will be fine.
Nice. So, I mean, that's pretty easy then.
On the subject of parking, just so, make it clear that we're not picking on Ren House. We were at Historic Brewing. They're actually their tap room at their facility.
Oh yeah.
Parking sucked.
Parking blows.
We went to Dark Sky Brewing, little place downtown, lots of public parking. Sucked.
Wandering Tortoise.
Well, I picked a spot at Dark Sky that literally was a spot next to like a Chinese place that said we get towed, and we're like, let's roll the dice. So, and we didn't get towed, so luckily, and we're like, it's in the same complex, kinda. So hopefully, it's whatever. And then you Wandering Tortoise, fucking awful, right?
Yeah, Wandering Tortoise sucks.
Which
sometimes
actually brings up a good point. Wandering Tortoise,
No, I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Well, Wandering Tortoise actually posted, I think it was on Instagram or their Facebook, that they actually bought the place next door.
Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, yeah. So, but their parking is only going to get fucking more horrendous as a result. Because they didn't buy the place to the other side where they got parking. They just bought the place where they now own the entire parking lot.
Correct.
Because who would want to be a fucking neighbor to Wandering Tortoise? I mean, fucking shoot me now.
Right.
At least if you're running in the evening hours.
Right. So if you would go to I think it's the east side, right? That would actually be more parking. But they bought the building to the west side, which doesn't help the parking, but it will make Wandering Tortoise bigger.
It is nuts to butts in there
every time I go
already. So, and it's so fucking hot. So, yeah.
Right, there's no way I'm going there right now, right? The summer's starting. It's getting...
porch is at least... They added a porch, though. That was legit. So
right. But now since it's, 105 out right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to that. It was hot in fucking the middle of winter almost.
Yeah.
Not going there right now. So
it takes a lot to get me to drive that part of Phoenix.
A
lot.
Well, rent house.
And that's all it's getting me there right now. And that takes a lot, but it's all it's getting me there right now. I went to Helton. Helton's was okay. Helton's parking was fine.
Right. And they kind of have it set up. Their front whole thing is actually pretty big, and they have like some side street parking in Helton too. So,
but no, I will give rent houses parking a much higher grade now that I understand the ins and outs of it.
Well, I think that's...
I'm sure that's their point.
Place. Right.
I'm sure that's their point.
I mean, it's hard for anybody to kind of... I mean, we were in California, and Monkish. Monkish is bad like that.
Monkish can only do so much, but Monkish has got a great amount of parking there. They're just too big for their britches.
Right, at this point. They need to move somewhere that more parking for sure. But yeah, Monkish was bad. Phantom Carriage was bad.
Oh, Phantom Carriage was... That was different. That's a whole different... they had that lot in the back.
Right. And it's still not huge, but they had a lot in the back and then on the side, which is funny. So just our last trip here over Memorial Day weekend, we actually went to Phantom Carriage. My wife wanted to go.
Nice.
Kind of her thing too. She loves horror movies. She loves like metal music. She likes friggin' sour beers, and that's pretty much their friggin' MO at that place. So
she should get in on the ground floor of that place.
Oh yeah, she loved it. So... But when we got there, last time when Nate and Dave and I went, we pulled up and we actually got the spot we pulled just past the door and got the first spot next past the door, right?
Yeah.
This last time, we got the exact same spot. We pull up and I'm like, there's no way. This is fucking 2 times in a row. We get the porn star parking right in the fucking front door. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
It was good stuff, man.
That place is badass.
Very cool. So we actually were talking before the break a little bit. Nate, you want to go and you actually want to talk about beers we've actually had.
Well, so at some point, at the beginning of the show, end of the show, middle of the show, whatever, it's a nice little around the horn of brews you've had recently.
Right.
We all go to breweries nonstop. You know what I mean? So we don't and we don't get to talk about them all on the show. So. A brew you've had in the last week, 2 weeks since we've been on the last show.
Kind of our maybe a standout brew.
Yeah, standout brew.
This last one.
Yeah,
all right.
A nice little top, little standout.
We need a sound effect at some point. Got to push a button.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that way we can keep this going.
Somebody do something that says like standout brew.
Yeah, exactly.
Like standout brew.
Done.
And we record it.
Yeah, and like ding, and then and then boom. All right, perfect.
So now we have to do that every time.
Yeah.
Unless every just
you could just cut up what we just did and we're set.
Nope.
I don't know if you know this, Nader. I'm not very good at editing podcasts, so
well, that's true. We'll
see.
You're good. So yeah, I guess because I didn't have it.
This is your segment. You need to go first.
This is my segment, and I honestly, what my standouts were going to be were from Wren House, which we don't have on the show, was the Night of the Sun, Night on the Sun, and the Miss Poncho. Okay, because I went there about a week ago with a buddy and had those, and I was just floored at how clean and how good they tasted.
So is Wren House at this point vying for your brewery?
I'm very hard up.
Arizona and them, are they like getting?
Oh. Yeah,
Arizona Wilderness and Wren House.
Arizona's in the back seat right now.
We're gonna do some punching.
Wilderness is my side hoe right now. You know what I mean? And Wren House is my main bitch right now.
Ouch.
Because you know what? They're making the beers that I want to drink. And I love these sours, and Wilderness is too. But I love the smallness, and Wren House is small,
right?
To say the least. So
yeah,
I like that.
Nice. Jeff, do you have anything that stood out this week for your last couple of weeks, I guess? 2 weeks?
Looking for big shocker IPA, not knowing what to do. Stopped by our GCM haunt, saw Chris.
Nice.
they had KBS, so I got that. Don't even need to go into detail about that.
Right.
But,
you just love how they have this sitting there on the floor over at GCM. They're like, oh, did you notice that sitting there? No, I didn't. I
was like, am I being punked?
Yeah.
You guys have like 8 4-packs of KBS right now. Are you waiting for someone to pick it up and you realize it's like, it's either empty bottles or full of piss or something.
Right.
But while I was there, they had the historic stuff. So, doing a little research for
nice.
What we were going up there for. So I grabbed a bottle of alternative facts, and that stuff blew my mind.
Right.
I mean, that is a really, really good IPA.
That's awesome. They had that in bottles over at GCM. That's tight.
Right.
That is super good.
So the probably standout for me this last couple of weeks was actually the Shop Beer Co. Same day as Wren House's release, which I didn't see that one, or else it would have been a real toss up between the two.
I know.
The Shop Beer
got moved around if I had seen that.
I would have went and got theirs, and I would have left and went to Wren House and got theirs. I actually would have double dipped and then got food somewhere else.
I was having lunch at Wilderness and I was like, I would have been like, honey, let's go. We went home. So I was pissed.
I didn't even see it.
Didn't see it till 4 o'clock.
But they actually did a bottle or can release called Church Music. Again, a juicy IPA from them. Really good. I wouldn't say I like the Bingo Bango Bongo that they released before that we did on that Saturday release from them. That was a Modern Times collab. A little better than that one, than the Church Music, but it was still really good.
Yeah, I
liked it a lot. So
I'm looking forward to trying it.
It was good. It was definitely good. I'm not gonna complain about it, but definitely.
Shop's doing cool stuff. They got a cool spot over there,
right?
So yeah, and so like ding around. What was the name of the? What was the name of the? Fuck. The segment.
Now I definitely have to record that.
Yeah, no, perfect. What did you say?
Standout beers.
Standout beers. Perfect.
You guys are killing our listenership.
Oh, they love it. That's what got us where we are now, Jeff. Welcome to the show. You're gonna have to really get us into a different par, but
wow.
So yeah, perfect. It's time to pour a new beer.
Let's pour a new beer.
All right, cool.
All right, we are back from our break, and we got a couple beers we are sampling, testing, getting ready to review. What do we got?
Actually, I guess what are we starting with, Chris? You decided.
Let's start with the small guy first.
Okay, Trillium,
the one that has all as Jeff put it earlier, semen in it. Well, at least my glass.
Yeah. When was that can on the bottom?
Someone was pearl diving in Chris's beer.
Don't worry. I rinsed it out with water, so you're not going to get anything nasty out. Other than maybe some water.
There is no date on the bottom of this can.
There's a can. There's a date on there somewhere on that can.
I mean, maybe back here. I don't know.
Anyway, all right. Well,
I'll toss it to you.
Tell us what it is.
It is a Mosaic Cutting Tiles double IPA from Trillium Brewery.
Nice.
Brewed in, I'm not going to say that, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts. Boston.
With a raw wildflower honey.
Nice. And I got this from someone in Boston, and that's where I'm going to leave that.
Here, I'm going to pass this to you. See if you can find a date. I can't find a date.
That's as far as I'm going to take that information.
In case the man's listening.
All right, guys. So what do you think of it? Has anybody tasted any of it?
I've not.
That wildflower honey is prominent.
I was going to say, can you really tell?
I'm going to take a picture of this real quick. Oh, my phone's there. They're on the floor.
Well, I kind of did a blind tasting of this just knowing because I saw that it was called Mosaic Cutting Tile. So, okay, you got me at the Mosaic hop thing. And then I took a sip and I literally told Nate, this tastes weird. Or what did I say? It tastes funny or weird.
This is funny. This tastes funny.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then Nate said, well, it's full of wildflower honey. Light bulb. It's like, that's it. I was going to say it tastes like flowers.
Yeah. It's an 8.5% alcohol double and, with raw wildflower honey. And like you're saying, Jeff, it's super obvious.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, and this is one of those, like, people freak out. They're like, Trillium. Got to get some Trillium. You ever had Trillium?
Nope. This will be the first one.
But see, this is
exactly.
I get, and
this is a good conversation beer.
I appreciate you getting these whales, Nate, but I'm totally not into them.
And I can respect the shit out of that.
I've seen a lot from Trillium, and again, these are good beers. Mm-hmm. These are good beers, but these beers are no better than the stuff we're getting on tap in our backyard.
Right.
No need to be selling them on eBay. No need to be doing crazy things to get them. I mean, honestly,
I was telling Chris, I was entertaining. It was a 4-pack. It was 2 of the Julius and 2 of the green IPAs from Treehouse. Treehouse is another one that was like right under Pure for me. It's like everyone's going crazy over this stuff. It must be amazing.
Right.
And then I go to Wilderness and I get, the Warp Riders, and it's like there's no way that a can of beer from the East Coast is going to be, it's not going to like make the sun shine on me any different, and it's not going to make me see things in a different way. Good beer is good beer.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't need to pay $50 for 4 cans of beer plus $30 shipping. So I'm not going to drop, $80 for, 32, 64 ounces of beer.
Absolutely. And I get it, because obviously I've done that kind of thing. I mean, I've done that here in reality, and it was $60 for this 4-pack, because I was like, and I'm gonna be honest. All right, fuck it. I wasn't gonna say it because I felt ashamed. It's a shame in my heart for buying these things.
Shame.
Shame. It is, because you're supporting these people on eBay that are doing something they shouldn't be doing. Because there's a few different angles to look at this. Okay, so for our listeners, I bought a 4-pack of diamond cutting. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk.
Tile cutting.
Tile cutting. Yeah, cutting tiles, double IPA mosaic. Shame. Perfect. So I realized, I show this to Chris. I'm like, dude, look at this. Did you realize there's like a fucking black market on eBay for canned beer collectibles? And it was news. Oh, yeah. It was news. I mean, I was like,
yeah, Jeff bought me some shit like 10 years ago.
And he didn't know that, but he still had to be a surprise to see all the Treehouse, all this stuff from all this Trillium, all this super freshy stuff on there.
eBay for sure. I thought at some point eBay kind of was like,
said no,
we're cutting it out. And there's still like
there's stuff on Google saying that they've said no and they're done with it, but you bullshit. It is alive and well.
My seller or something like that, or my whatever. There's another site that does the same kind of thing,
one,
right?
But that's all bottles. I believe
it's all loopholes. Look at all that stuff, and it's like this is a limited collector's item beer. It is not intended to be consumed.
Tell them they're lying, though.
Right.
I mean, that's absolutely true.
It's great. It's a loophole.
It's an absolutely collectible can.
You're buying the can.
Anything being sold from Wilderness is absolutely a collectible can.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a limited edition.
If that's your thing, maybe you like them full.
Right.
And some people do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like my cans full. I like to drain. I like to drain them down my throat.
Exactly. I like to collect cans, but I like them empty. What was I going to do? Of course, I was going to invite you guys over when we were going to drink them.
What?
And I traded one for a Pure Project brew, which we had earlier, which we didn't even do.
No Special Agent Smith. I poured it down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. One of us was at the bottom of the drain. We took out the trap. And so, honestly, I couldn't be any happier for paying $60 for this 4-pack, for $60 with shipping, which was $15 a beer. Yeah, that's when there's $20 for a 4-pack. Yeah, that's not super good, but hey, weigh it. You want some of this beer? Do you have somebody to trade with like I didn't? Yeah, you're gonna do something.
Well, are you gonna roll the dice and try to trade with somebody and then get fucked over maybe, or maybe not get fucked over?
Old, fresh. You get some batch that's not fresh. Right. I mean, this guy was saying. I talked to him. I messaged him. He's like, "Yep, just got it. It's ready to go." I'm like, "Sweet."
Okay,
there you go.
We drank a lot of beer yesterday.
We did.
Is any of the beer that you've had today ridiculously better than anything you drank yesterday?
None of it's better than the beers I had at Ren House yesterday.
Right.
Honestly, none of them is better than the beer I had last night, in my opinion.
They're good, and I mean that pure stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was everything I hoped it would be.
And that was my point. I was going to say, I'm really glad I bought them for $60 because I went and traded somebody for a Pure Project, which I never would have gotten.
Right. But if you poured a Pure Project blind tasting, you did a Pure Project and an alternative facts or like a DC Mountain.
Yeah.
I would venture to say I would have a difficult time telling you which was which in a blind taste test.
How often do you have these whales and you really find out that it's just actually very superhuman? Like you're like, oh no, but it's not mythical. It's very human.
It's funny.
It's something I've had before.
Or that's I think the no matter what brewery you go to, the spectrum, the mid range like good beer is very broad for every brewery I've ever been to. Like there's a lot of beers that I really like a lot. And there are very far few between where I'm like, this was fucking amazing. Like, I have to have this. And for me to, like you said, like, when I'm purchasing the beer I've never had from, like, another brewery across the United States or somewhere I've never been, you're rolling those dice, right? That could just be a standard beer for them. It's not, like, I traded beer with people, and I gave them Tower Station IPA, which we can get all the time. It's good beer. It's good.
To them, it's amazing, though.
But it's fucking amazing, right? So and they want it because they can't get it. And that's the fucking name of the game of any craft beer right now. It's, I can't get it, gotta have it.
And those are trades that I'm good to get in on. Like, I'm going to trade with a guy from New York for some other half brewing because I just dig other half.
Right.
Whatever they make, I want to try.
Well, and that's my thought is if it's more of like, hey, I get you some beer I can get here, and you give me beer you can get there, and we can just swap it up.
That's how he feels.
Totally cool. But I'm not going to go on my way to pay fucking $70, $80 for these fucking beers where I'm going to roll the dice where it just might be a mediocre beer. It might be an okay beer, and
that's
good.
not the way it should be.
Right.
He paid $30 for the beers at other half he's trading me, and I'm sending him $30 worth of beer. There's no money being exchanged.
See, perfect. Beer trades make a lot more sense to me than this crazy, go on eBay and get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like buddies. It's just a random person.
Right.
You guys nailed it. I mean, it's like, I see that label all over Instagram, or I hear all these people talking about it. I have to have it. And then, I'm the guy, it's like, well, I have to have it. And in a moment of weakness, it's like, you roll the dice and you hit that pay now.
Yep.
And
and I did.
You get your big brown box, and it's like, you drink it. And again, you've been preaching on this cutting tiles. It's like, holy shit, I got some. I got a Trillium beer. I got this whale.
Right.
And what was the first text I sent you guys?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, we're getting this already.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, I'm not dogging this.
Totally.
But way overhyped. Way overhyped.
Oh, yeah. And Brandon just did the same thing I did, and he got 4 beers from them, and I bet he did the sampler. Somebody was doing a Trillium 4-pack sampler, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I'm sure at all those he was saying there were some really good ones, and it's like, oh, if I was rich, sure, I'd just be buying beer on eBay all day. But it really inspires you to brew. I mean, if you really like beer, you're like, I need to make the beer I want to drink. That's what you really think,
right?
So
and so. Kind of, I guess, news, necessarily not news, but something we actually talked about before. Sierra Nevada released their beer camp, right? And in the beer camp, I mean, that's something great about beer camp.
There's a couple good ones in beer camp.
It is nice to see that,
there's a few stinkers,
right? There's always it's like you're getting. It's like almost like a beer fest. That's why I like beer fest too.
Yeah,
I can go to a beer fest. I can try a bunch of different kinds of beers.
Somehow Goose Island is still allowed to be there.
Yeah, right.
That's you know what I mean.
That's awful. But I can try a bunch of beers for one price and not be married to one beer for all my money kind of thing. So this is kind of in that same thing, and this is what I think the third year they're doing it. And what's great about this year is there's actually Treehouse is actually in the beer camp this year. You're actually
what was the style of beer they did?
It's called East Meets West IPA.
Right.
So weird.
It's a non-hazy New England IPA.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, it says Sierra Nevada's multi-body and profile blended with the heavy-handed, very late hopping schedule employed by Treehouse to create a new hybrid IPA, lightly bitter and heavy with citrus and hop flavor. And I believe you get 3 cans in it actually from them.
I bet it's malty.
In their beer can. We'll see. I still haven't picked any up. I need to go find some and try it. But I mean, again,
I haven't seen any photos for any. I mean, I feel like I follow every local beer store. I haven't seen it come to the Valley just yet.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I saw it at Liquor Express. Actually, got some, and then I need to get over there and just try to get some, just for this alone.
Oh yeah, I'll pick one up.
I'll try some other ones, but it's nice that at this point I'm not trading with anybody. I can just try these beers that we can get.
Oh yeah,
it's basically like a mini, like a beer fest in a box, which is kind of cool. And there's gonna be some shitty beers in there. There always is.
There's always at least half in my. I mean, like I felt like 3/4 of it fucking blew at some point. But I mean, I'm picky as fuck. But it is cool to see.
But to get one or two of those fucking standouts, that's really great. And I love. I think they said that there's gonna be 3 of these beers of this one at least in the beer camp stuff. That being said, you want to get back to actually. I mean, I guess this beer, we should probably go through.
Yeah, we're going to taste this Trillium beer. What does it taste like to us? So first we would...
I've already kind of...
It's in a can. It's been... it is fresh. So, and the thing about Trillium, if you don't know anything about Trillium, they just opened up a tap room, but initially they just can and sell their beer.
Yep.
That's how they sell it.
Direct to public.
Yep. They obviously provide kegs to local bars, but if you go to Trillium, you're buying a can.
Yep.
And so this is a pretty accurate way to try this beer. In that regard, the look of it.
Yeah, how's it look to you? I mean,
it's not a hazy brew.
So it was filtered though. It was very filtered.
Right. Yeah.
Mine was not. Mine was the bottom of the can. I think.
What's that called?
I think
Jeff?
I had the clearest sample.
I didn't. So you guys listen to the Perfect Pour, but they always call it top pour. So you always pour yourself top pour and then pour everybody else the bottom pour.
Yeah,
so I think that's what Nate did to me. He fucking poured me bottom pour.
I know. I think I got some bottom pour too, though. I think Jeff got top pour on that one.
All right.
There is no sediment in mine whatsoever.
Yeah, Jeff got top pour.
Mine was
perfect.
Just shake it next
only
time.
Only $1 an ounce.
What could possibly go wrong? Just shake that thing
$1
up.
an ounce.
Spread the wealth.
But yeah, it smells.
Very,
it smells boozy and dank.
very floral, very much
Fruit.
a honey note. I mean, I got that honey, and I said it tasted funny, but it tasted like flowers.
so very. Like you said, do you anything in the aroma? Do you actually get any of the honey or anything in the aroma?
you got the honey and those wildflowers
sweet.
in the aroma as well.
Okay,
Yeah, it smells.
I
sweet.
don't think it smells at all characteristically like an IPA.
Yeah,
you get that honey and wildflower like big time in the nose.
It's funny. It feels this to me, and I agree with you. Everything you said. It's honey and floral in the nose. You get that more in the taste of it. A lot more honey maybe in the taste of it. This actually feels like it's kind of a mead meets an IPA kind of blended together.
That's a very good description.
Right.
Me being a mead guy, I can't believe that.
Right. It was like that's what it tastes like. It literally tastes kind of like a mead that meets an IPA. It's very sweet. I'm surprised that Nate is not fucking just bashing this thing beyond belief.
It's a little sweet. Well, but the thing is, I would be bashing the shit out of it if that malt was right there with it, super up front. It's a little sweet, which does off-put me.
Right.
Because with a sweet beer, you typically get a malty beer. But no, it's delicious. It's good. And this can's fucking pissing me off because there should be a fucking date on it. And
There's
I can
not.
see that. Well, they fucked it up. It's all
Right.
paint and ink smeared here. It's fucking fresh. Don't worry, listeners. All right, it's fresh. Okay,
Hold your panties. It's fresh.
Somebody out there is like, bullshit. It's fucking fresh. All right, dude.
So I'm really debating if I want to drink the bottom like
I didn't.
white. like I don't know.
I said fuck that. I've already had 3 of these things.
Overall,
You just put it in the fridge. We can pitch that.
Yeah,
We'll pitch that in our next beer.
it's
awesome.
a beautiful beer. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is a tasty beer. It's a good beer, and if you can get your buddy to send you one for free for something in return from Arizona, you should do it all day.
Right. So like I said, that's kind of your overall.
Yeah, well, the guy I'm training with, he's like, yeah, I love some Arizona brews. And so what I'm sending him is I'm going to send him one of the fresh Warp Riders. He's going to get a chocolate bunny and one of the night on the sun from Ren, because he said he likes Berliners and sours. And I was like, dude, I fucking got one for you.
I got a place for you. Yeah. Right.
And that's the nice thing about trading, because I'm like, what do you like?
Right.
Because I'm like, this is what I got. And he's like, dude, all that sounds nuts good. I'm like, perfect. Here we go. Now I'm going to send it to you as soon as I can pick it up on Sunday.
Just so what overall, what do you this beer? I mean, if you want to do like an untapped, like 4 out of 5,
I'd give it like from an untapped rating. I'd give it like a 4.25 out of 5. And again, it's a good IPA, but it's I don't know. It wasn't my thing. And again, I like mead. I don't want my IPA to taste like mead.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it with that summation.
Yeah, I'd say 4 on this for me too. I think it's probably a 4 because of the hype and because I definitely want to try something from them. This is the first time I've ever tried from them. I'm interested to try more from them for sure. This is a good maybe introduction to maybe their line of beers up. Not the first one
I would be concerned if it wasn't made with raw honey.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh fuck, I don't know. I don't know about the rest of their beers.
I'm super. I mean, it was nice that they did that, and that's. I said
it is good though, but you're like you said, you're surprised I don't dislike it. I'm almost like I really like it, but I could have liked it more for sure.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other brews that have spoken to me more.
Right.
This thing is going up against some pretty powerful beers today. So
It's going up some great beers over the weekend.
Right.
I mean, we brewed our own bear and drank copious amounts of it yesterday, which we're gonna drink more of that today here in a bit. I mean, it's got some stiff competition.
Right. So the next beer we actually have on the table, unless you guys want to get some news, you guys want to get news, and we're going to listen that up.
Entirely up to you. I was just going to say we doubled it up, and we have 2
let's.
tasters
So let me look at the stuff here. So one thing I want to talk about.
One of these beers in front of me. I got too many here.
You probably should. So, do you guys know what an ale trail is?
I know what a snail trail is.
Right?
I'm not going there.
Damn.
An ale trail?
Right, an ale trail.
Is it a trail where you travel to different places where they make ales?
It could be.
Okay, hit me. What is it?
That is definitely not a Trail of Tears.
No, it's not. No, but that's exactly what it is, right?
Perfect,
So,
I nailed it.
Right. The idea
is it like a pub crawl on a grand scale?
Exactly. So like that's when I saw this article, I was like, isn't that just a pub crawl? That seems fucking weird. Yeah. Right. So, it basically is this article and basically talk about what an ale trail is and actually give an infographic. And it goes through the only difference I really saw the difference was that when you do it, it's more of an official thing, right? So with a pub crawl, you're like, we're going here, we're going to do this, getting light rail and whatever. This is more of like, okay, you start at a brewery and they have like, this is point A, this is point fucking D or whatever it is. And you go to each one and you have like a passport or a book and they fucking stamp it at each one. And then by the end of it, you actually get like fucking some swag and shit.
All right.
So it's kind of an official thing. Maybe I guess Arizona has the Bermuda Triangle kind of thing going on. I'm not sure if that's like super official, but they kind of do it with Wren House, Gila Basin, and Helton.
Okay. All right.
But they actually gives you a map of the United States and it actually names a few different ones. There actually is one actually in Arizona. So I want to see if you guys can actually guess it. It is not the Bermuda Triangle. So do you guys know where that would actually be in this state?
We
have an ale trail in Arizona,
and we have a
Bermuda Triangle, which is Helton, Gila Basin, and Wren House.
Okay,
they're actually kind of in a triangle.
So what are we guessing?
That's not actually the ale trail. It's in Arizona on this map.
Okay.
Where do you think the ale trail actually is?
So there's three different breweries.
Are we talking like breweries or events?
No, it's actually it's breweries. You actually go to different breweries. It's I read this and I was like, that doesn't seem like I would do that, but anybody? No.
Santan's got to be on there.
Nope. No.
So let me just. So it's a Bermuda Triangle of three different places we would go.
So Bermuda Triangle is a coined phrase from three breweries in Arizona. It doesn't exist anywhere else. That's only for us. And ale trails that we're talking about right now, we have one here. They are not part of it.
Oh, so there are other breweries involved with this ale trail then?
Yes.
And so we're trying to guess those breweries.
Yes. Well, just guess where it would be.
I don't know.
And by my sarcasm, you would probably not guess Phoenix because it's not here.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Now I'm with you. All right, guys, we're with it. So it's like Flagstaff?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's surprising because there's another big festival that happens up there.
It says Flagstaff Grand Canyon Ale Trail is what it says.
Oh. I was like, probably go Grand Canyon Brewing.
Yeah, it actually doesn't actually list every brewery is on it. It says there's 9 breweries, which seems weird. I'm like, well, I guess maybe it's all the breweries in Flagstaff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's like, it's not. Well, it says Grand Canyon. So again, that seems weird to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. But like I said, all the places it's like, oh yeah, maybe Phoenix.
I wonder if you got down into it. Flagstaff, their breweries are all. Maybe not necessarily within walking distance, but they're all
pretty close. It's a small place, right? It's not huge.
Yeah.
But there's just so many more here. I can't believe that we don't have maybe 2. Again, this is from craftbeer.com. I can't believe we actually don't have more. I mean, maybe it's hard because there's so many that there could be,
but
or maybe not official.
It's funny you're bringing this up today because my nephew and I were talking this morning. He was like, "There's so many breweries out here, and there's so many breweries up in Flagstaff. Arizona's got to be like a heavy hitter on the microbrewery scale." He's like, hey, where do you think most of the breweries are? And I'm like, Colorado, Oregon, they got to be up. Arizona doesn't even crack the top 10 in the nation.
No, we're not.
Number one's California.
Yep.
California's like above and beyond everyone else. They're like 340 breweries. Second, I think, was Washington. Then, of course, like, Colorado, Oregon, and some East Coast stuff. So, I mean...
Michigan is really weird. Michigan has a ton of breweries, which is crazy.
I think Michigan is in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see that Arizona's not even in the top 10. Nope. I mean, here we are in Phoenix. Phoenix just hit like the 5th largest city in the United States.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not even a heavy hitter on the microbrew scale, which is weird because it feels like we have a very, very significant microbrew presence. And I mean, to us, we do. I'm not discounting it at all. We have more than 100 breweries like just in Phoenix.
You know what I think when you tell me that, though, Jeff? Is that we need to start a brewery. Clearly, we're not oversaturated like I thought.
Right. So we're not, this isn't saturating Phoenix enough. We should help saturate it more.
Clearly, there is some room left in the niche for us. So, no, that's awesome.
Bored. Let's do this.
Let's hit that $315 million.
Who doesn't want to own a bar? You know what I mean? Like, honestly, not to derail us for a second, but the way these guys form relationships with some of these breweries.
I want to own a bar. I want to own a brewery.
I want to own a brewery with a bunch of dope guest taps. You know what I mean? I guess that would be my... I
thought you said Nate was just going to stop after dope. I want to own a brewery with a bunch of dope.
Just cutting lines.
Taps. Dope taps. I meant dope taps. This guy's got a green card.
Yeah. But seriously.
And I'm not talking about the immigration kind.
I can come in between Mexico and U.S. anytime I want.
The Canadians won't have him, though.
I still my pass.
I had to go there. I rode a dolphin.
That's a wow. All right. So overall in this thing, there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them on here. We have 9. There's actually Omaha has an ale trail, which is kind of crazy. Bend Ale Trail up in Oregon, and then
I bet the Oregon Ale Trail is pretty sweet.
15. They have 15 brewers on that ale trail per se. Santa Barbara actually has ale trail for 17 of them. Jack's Ale Trail, which is Jacksonville, maybe it's Jacksonville, Florida. I'm like Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know what they have 8. Massachusetts has 47, and big guy Nate, Maine.
I was gonna say
what
74 breweries on their ale trail. That's impressive.
Wow, that's nuts.
So probably because there's nothing to do there but drink.
Seriously,
drink and fish for lobster.
Lobster and do drugs,
dude. So I hope there's not a time frame for that, because if you do 74 brews in a day or something like that,
you'd be busy.
You're gonna be real busy that day.
Crazy.
It's a lot of beer.
They just wanted to get everyone in on that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I thought it was fun to see this and see that we actually really have all on the map of all the different states and all the different, like you said, we're not even the top 10 for like these but we actually have an ale trail. So kind of cool. I'd rather be in Phoenix and have their own ale trail, so maybe we can make that official.
And how many people are how many breweries are on our ale trail in flag?
9.
Okay. Is Historic on it?
It doesn't say. It doesn't actually say the names of the breweries. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. I guess
it's probably just all the ones up there in that vicinity. So you got like Lumberyard, Mother Road,
right,
Grand Canyon's on it. Yeah, let's see. I can read the little thing here. It says this is a permanent fundraising program for a nonprofit organization based in Flagstaff, serving people with disabilities. So,
so this is like a charity.
It's also I guess it's like a charity thing too. Yeah,
that's way more cool.
Yeah, that's sweet. All right, fine, that's cool. But just bring one down here.
Right, exactly.
Let's have one here.
It was cool that we were on it, but it was still surprising me that it wasn't in Phoenix.
There's so many good ones.
Right.
But I guess when you think about it, though, I mean, when you guys start talking about how there's 380 something in California, the first thing I think to myself is really only 380
but
breweries.
Don't they do like a big event during like Beer Week here, where they do that like the bicycle tour of all the breweries?
Yep, they do the fat tire,
the Tour de Fat.
Yeah. Yes, Tour de Fat. Yep. That's right. Yeah, but that always seemed like that. I don't know. Craft breweries that are big like that don't ever feel like craft breweries. That seems
sketchy, because this is a state you can get a DUI on a bike with.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So let's get in that, because I mean we talked about this kind of before the show, and I thought it was a really good topic. So let's kind of get into that.
I'm a snob like it when it comes to and I guess, and like I said, we need to give that some forethought.
Right. Let's kind of like flesh it out for everybody, like kind of what our conversation was.
What originally thought of it, what made me think of it was Surly.
Right.
Surly just hit 100,000 barrels. And I was like, dang, only 100,000 barrels. Because you think about Surly's just started coming to AZ.
Right.
They're starting to do 12 packs of Citra now, which is awesome.
Right.
But they're brewing 100,000. They're finally getting to 100,000. They experienced some of the highest growth last year of any breweries.
Right. They're the biggest brewery in Minnesota. I know that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's preface that real quick. How much is a barrel of beer?
How much is a barrel of beer?
So,
Chris?
A full keg, right, that you get like
50 gallons
is a half barrel.
Half barrel.
Right. So you have a half barrel is actually a full keg, not even a pony keg or anything like that. It's not 50 gallons. That's huge. a full barrel,
big fucking keg.
Right, a full barrel is 2 kegs.
It's like a 5-gallon.
Right,
keg,
2 full kegs is actually 1 full barrel. So we start getting into it's just kind of like it's good to kind of visualize what that would actually be. So you say when you say
it was 1 keg,
100,000 barrels.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking about a 5-gallon keg there for a second, added a 0 to it. But anyway, no, it's a full size. It's 1 barrel is 2 full size kegs.
Yep.
And anyway, they brewed 100,000. Stone's doing like 300,000 plus. Boston Beer Company's doing 300, 500,000, something like that.
Right, and everybody thinks
massive.
that. Right, everybody thinks that Boston Beer Company is again huge, right?
Yeah.
But really, and when you say those numbers, right, if you compare them to what actually big beer is doing, when people say big beer, they spill more beer on the floor than actually the Boston Beer Company makes in a year.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of right. Even then, Boston Beer Company, the last time I looked, which was a little while ago, they were only still, I think 3% of the total craft beer market in the U.S. And that's Boston Beer Company.
Really? That's about 3%, though. I mean, that's
still a lot. I don't know, that's not. But when you start looking, I mean, I think craft beer in general now at this point was up over 12% overall of the U.S. But then again, these figures, from little data, I'm sure they're probably more than that right now. But it's just funny. You're like, they're making hundreds of thousands of barrels, and they're not even, a full. I think, maybe not even 3%. Like last time I looked, it was just over 1%, maybe the 3% now. But it's just one of those, that's a lot of beer.
Well, I'm looking right here, and Sam Adams of Boston Beer, they shipped 4 million barrels.
Right,
4 million barrels of beer. That's it. And that was following a 6% drop.
So really what our conversation came down to was...
That doesn't really particularly matter.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's good to have perspective of why we're having this conversation.
It is. So to put 4 million against Boston Beer, look at Stone, 300,000.
Right.
Surly, 100,000. At what point, and what I brought up to Chris and Jeff before the show is like... Those beer companies are too big for me. So they're not producing the kind of beer I want to drink ever. I'm never really going out to buy beer from them if I can. I used Wren House as an example. They did the Miss Poncho, and however big their system is, they took however many barrels from that, and they added, and they did a blueberry. They aged it on blueberries for a while. It's like, at what point do you become too big to do those things? As a brewery, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, what was it?
And at what point do you start to decipher between breweries that can do that and breweries that are pumping out 100 and 300,000 barrels a year?
Well, again, then
it's like that doesn't feel like craft beer.
You get into, like you said, scaling. So if Doghead, Dogfish did that, it's cool. It's like, hey, we got this blueberry beer,
right?
But
they'd have to do it on such a massive scale to meet that customer base.
You have Wren House that gets like a couple 100 pounds of blueberries and something.
Exactly.
You got Dogfish. Is it even a possibility to buy like, 500,000 pounds of blueberries to do this with? Or at what point do you do an extract? At what point where, are you like... you're trying to source this, and all the blueberry sources are like, go to hell. That's an astronomical amount.
Yeah, just so you can take a part of your beer run and age it for a couple of months on some blueberries for a special run. It's just like using that as an example. It just seems to me at what point do we start to decide that there's a difference between these beer companies and these breweries that are doing special things and special small 30-barrel runs and 7-barrel runs and it just a specialty beers being aged in brewed a certain way. At what point do you start to decipher between Surly, who's making 100,000, and Stone, who's making 100,000 or 300,000?
So
they're not really in the. It seems weird to put them both in the craft beer,
right? So.
I said, it's almost like when you're local like that, you're more like an artisan craft. It's an art for some of these guys. I'm sure it's for everyone an art.
I mean, at a certain point, it's too big. So craft beer, right? At least to me, is if we're talking about the beer itself. Like this is beer is made in a craft style, a craft manner, and the other macro beer, micro whatever you want, big beer isn't made in that more of that craft mentality like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, like it's how it goes back to be independent beer versus craft beer, right? Like we got to kind of separate that a little bit.
And if that's what if that's what people decide to decipher it, I'm good with it. It just still seems odd to put New Belgium and these other beers in the same spot.
If you look at the Brewers Association, I pulled it up because I know they for a long time the Boston Beer Company they're still considered a craft beer, but they consider a regional craft brewer.
Yeah.
Right. And so I actually wanted to see what the other market segments or whatever they call them for the Brewers Association, actually how they actually have them categorized out.
Yeah,
right.
When can you no longer be considered a microbrewery?
So good question.
And that's a great point.
A microbrewery is anything that produces less than 15,000 barrels a year.
Right. Okay.
So that's a microbrewery. Right. Anything more than that, you become either a brew pub, which actually serves food. Right, or 25%. So the official is a restaurant brewery that sells 25% or more of its beer on site. The beer is brewed primarily for sale in the restaurant and bar. The beer is often dispensed directly from the brewery's storage tanks, which are on site. That's a brew pub. Then you have contract brewing, which is somebody brews your beers outside for you, brings them in. And then you have a regional craft brewer, which is an independent regional brewer with a majority volume in traditional or innovative beers. It does not give a limit, does not give a number.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot of descriptors.
Yeah, it goes on. That's what's regional craft brewery. You have regional brewery and large brewery.
Well,
so regional brewer is, I'm sorry, and let me get
continue.
Regional brewery is a brewery with an annual beer production between 15,000 and 6 million barrels.
Holy shit.
And actually it gives me a list of them too. A large brewery is a brewery with an annual beer production of over 6 million barrels.
6 billion?
No, million. Over 6 million. So it goes regional brewery and then large brewery, which is funny that regional and then large is different. But yeah.
And that's crazy. And I guess they've already got it handled then. You know, I guess in the eyes of brewers guilds and everything, that kind of questions are already answered. But it's a microbrewery.
No, I still get your point. I think that there needs to be more segments in there. I don't think that microbrewery and then regional craft brewer, like the two, like this is what you get.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't want to ostracise breweries. I don't want to be like, nope, you're too big, get lost. But I guess I want to be able to. I mean, I guess I do a little.
No, but I like I said, I get your. I want there to be more segments in there. I think that some of the ones are more just because there's food and there's other things going on or whatever. But I think the step from microbrewery to regional craft brewer is really
15,000 to 6 million. That's a bit of a jump.
Right. Well, that's actually just that's a regional brewer.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah,
it's one of those like
that's just, and that's just something I think about when I see all these specialty brews that come out. And all these breweries around here. Richter Aleworks. But small scale brewers that. It's weird to lop them in with Stone,
like New Belgium and all these people. Like, right? They said the amount of production that they have to do into a beer that they would have to make to even get more. It's funny. Like, it's almost like the bigger you get, the farther away from craft technically you get. Right?
It feels like it sometimes.
Well, a perfect example is Dogfish Head. Yeah. They've always been like they were like that brewery that did like the crazy stuff, like the what is it? That granola beer that we're crazy about. It's like
the American Beauty
or whatever.
Yeah. That one was good.
And again, so it's good, but you take it's like granola beer for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what it is. But you take a granola beer on a scale that big, and you compare it to like the granola beer that Wilderness does.
Right.
And I mean, I know that's comparing like apples to oranges. But I mean, those are two completely different animals.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the same idea is there. But, how much fucking granola would Dogfish Head have to buy to do a run of that beer? And I mean, that's the reason we haven't seen that in 2 years or so?
I haven't seen it back in forever. You're absolutely right. And I guess that is a testament to the big breweries can still do it. But like I said, I just described Dogfish Head as a big brewery. It feels big to me.
Like I said, I'm with you. I think that we just had to have more steps in there.
But the thing that keeps coming back to me is something that Wes said. He was talking. Wes kind of had that Wes Burbank at Richter Aleworks for anyone who didn't hear that
from our last podcast.
He's just got that attitude like. yeah, fuck it. Let's do this. Let's experiment. And he's like, that's a lot easier to do on like a 7-barrel system than like, you know, on a freaking 1,000-barrel system. Yeah. Because if you do something and it doesn't come out right, I mean, that's crushing to the owner.
That's thousands of dollars down the drain.
So I'm sure that's the kind of shit that you know, the Dogfish Heads and the bigger brews like Sam Adams, it's like, you know, hey, we have to spend like $1.5 million on fucking granola to infuse this beer.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come out, that's crushing. I mean, I remember what was the show that Sam did for a while, and they had to dump like freaking a whole batch of the 120 minute. And basically, he's saying, you know, we're dumping like $1.2 million worth of beer, and it's like I don't care if it was spoiled. I would still just sit there drinking it.
Yeah, and that hurts, because.
Which, you know, that's not to say that, you know, like the Wilderness guy or the Wren House guy, if they had a problem with infection or something just didn't come out, or if there was, you know, we've all been affected by, you know, a Wilderness beer that wasn't up to par, or it needed this, or, you know, hey, it needs a couple more weeks, and I mean, that's gotta suck. But, you know, on the infinitely smaller scale that those guys are on, you know, I'm sure it still would suck immensely for those guys to have to dump a whole batch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then, like you're saying, you know, AB InBev is dumping more. They spill more shit than these guys make in a year.
Yeah, I paid like $80 for a homebrew recipe, and if we had to dump that shit, I would feel that. That's $8 to me. Yeah, right. That's $80. That's not fucking anything.
Be like, this sucks.
To anybody else, that's fucking nothing.
Yeah,
but
that would definitely hurt.
Well, let's get to this next beer. I mean, I'm sure we could talk about this fucking for a whole goddamn show, but let's get to this next beer.
Jeff, what do you think of yours? How does yours look? Oh, Jeff's is fucking completely empty.
It looks
killed
empty.
That. Jeff killed his. This was Great Notions. What'd you think of it, Jeff?
It's a good straight up standard IPA.
Yeah, liked it.
So a little cloudy in the appearance, kind of golden, like straw, not super hazy like we've been seeing, but it's definitely not, you know, transparent at all. I can't really see through this.
No, and for our listeners, our great listeners, right. It's another Great Notion Brewing from Portland, Oregon.
How do we get this?
Papa Libby went and stood in line. He was sick.
God bless that guy.
Excuse me. He was coming. He was feeling much better. He was sick. He went into Great Notion. He ordered this amazing looking burger. He sent me a photo. It looked incredible. He ordered this delicious looking IPA called Fortunate Son, and he sends me a photo and he's like, "How does this look?" And I'm like, "It looks amazing. How does it taste?" He's like, "I don't know."
If you think back,
he could not fucking taste any of this shit he ate and drank. It was unbearable. It was like a worst nightmare.
A couple episodes back, the Great Notion we actually had that Matt sent us.
Yeah, our buddy Matt Smith sent us that stuff. Yeah,
that was actually Fortunate Son as well.
Oh, was that? Yep. That was Fortunate Son we had?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
right.
We
had the first one was Fortunate Son.
That's right. We had two from them.
Yep.
That's right. And I freaked out about that first one. That was good. That's right. I fought you for the can.
You did.
Like, give me that can.
And now you have two of them.
Yep.
So
no, that's right. And so he's like, I was like, how did it taste? He's like, I don't know. It all looked great though. Right. It all looked amazing. No, Great Notion's doing great stuff on a 30-barrel system in insane. Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Doing great, crazy sours and IPAs.
Beautiful.
So,
but it's cloudy, but it's not like that whole New England cloudy.
Right.
Like I'm sitting here looking at the two that Nate has.
Right. You compare them.
You got orange juice on the right side with the peaches and cream, and then you've got a hazy, but yet still an amber color. You know, clearish.
Right. More
from the Great Notion.
An IPA kind of normal. Color range, a little more reddish amber in the color, where the peaches and cream is definitely. Orange juice almost.
And as this warms up, you get so much more of that peaches and cream.
I don't know. I finished mine.
It's nuts.
It's gone.
It is nuts. The lactose, I don't know how they did it, but it really, peaches and cream, you couldn't name that anything else. I'm sure they went into it.
How do you have any of that left?
I'm savoring.
Who knows? So as far as aroma, you guys getting tropical stuff? Like I said, I think I remember smelling this earlier, and I had a lot of tropical fruit.
I'm convinced, and we did a good job with this beer. We did a good job on its age. It was still just canned on 5/19.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we did a good job on this can. I've never had an IPA shipped for more than a week that didn't taste a little grassier than I bet than it did originally. So I get a little bit of a grassier kind of a, you know what I mean? It just tastes, it just tastes a little different than I'm sure it did on tap. Well, that's good. It goes without saying.
It's a crawler, right? That's how they call them there. So,
but they crawler like they do at Wilderness.
Okay.
They use the nitrogen or CO2 to blow out the headspace.
I will say this: the shelf space is what, like 90 days. Is kind of what you're looking for, freshness, right? For an IPA for the most part, right? And
for like a professional line,
you're still kind of
still even for something like this, well, think about it. You had that blueberry sour,
right?
How long did you sit on that?
Yeah,
I was for sure you ruined it,
right?
Didn't want to tell you at the time, but I thought for sure he ruined it because he was there. I was like, that's a crowler. You've had it for like a month,
right? I will say that
it tasted delicious, right?
It was great. I will say this. IPAs,
some beers, right,
probably aren't the best to age, and they're not going to be, especially some of these New England style IPAs that are super hoppy and really aroma. Drink them when they're fresh. 100%.
Yeah,
I agree with that statement.
Like when you walk at a Great Notion, crack it open, drink it fresh.
But there's going to be some beers that are going to be okay in that 90 days out. Maybe that's a little pushing it, but 60, 70 days out, you're probably still totally fine. This is way before that. So,
oh yeah, like I said, this was literally canned in Oregon. Less than 2 weeks ago.
Right.
My dad got it, sent it the next day. I just feel like that affects the smell a little bit, and so I was just kind of including that with it. But
no, that's
where I'm at.
It's your thing, man.
That's where I'm at with it.
Cool.
I'm picky.
Definitely,
so Jeff, you enjoyed it though. I mean, obviously,
it's gone,
good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great double. What is this considered a double or an imperial?
I believe so. Oh no, maybe it was an imperial.
It's an 8.2. Going back to that balance thing. I know we're kind of freaking kicking that thing till it's dead, but it's got that great kind of citrusy, florally hop aroma. It's got that good kind of citrusy, tropical hoppy hit. Good alcohol hit at the end.
Yeah.
It's just a really good, well balanced. Nothing super special, like mind blowing. It's just a really good double.
The bit on the back of their can gets me every time.
Yeah.
GNB focuses on juicy IPAs and creative sours. Yeah. I want to know these guys. I want to go to Great Notion Brewing.
You'll be intimate with them.
I want to interview these guys. I want to go to this brewery. Got a fucking lumberjack on the front of the can, man.
Well, I mean, maybe that's our first
yeah, there we go.
patron thing we actually do, because we're talking about doing patron. For everybody that doesn't know what that is, you basically help us actually reach goals and achieve things. It's basically
how we're going to Great Notion.
How we're going to set it up is we're actually either going to do basically the lowest bid, which is $1, and it's basically you pay $1 per episode, right? Or we're going to do some tier system, and maybe we'll throw some swag or whatever else in there too. We haven't figured that out yet, but the idea is
to come.
We don't want you guys to spend, or anybody to help support the show, so we can go to places and do things and see things.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, podcasts are not free. You actually have to pay for things for podcasts, so we kind of need to get those things in.
It's been a little, but we did get. Well, never mind, Jeff. You insist on not paying for the peaches and cream. I was going to say we almost got our first free can of brew.
I would not accept the peaches and cream for free.
We got to keep integrity.
We've definitely got free beer from.
Oh yeah, that's going to say Richter. Richter. Another shout out to Matt. Richter for their amazing show they let us have over there. But yeah, no, we've met many great people so far. That
I don't have a problem drinking free beer on a podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I do have a problem reviewing free beer, and that's not to say that I'm not going to review free beer. But if I review free beer, I will disclose that it's like, hey, this was given to us, because I mean, whether you want it to or not, somewhere in your soul, somewhere that getting it for free, like I mean.
Totally,
it was free to you guys for the most part.
100% true.
And I mean that, but again, that's
I enjoyed it more.
This ain't my first review rodeo.
Yeah,
and I just personally have beef with reviewing free shit. I'll do it, but I will fully disclose that it's like, hey, this was given to me by, or this was donated. This I did not pay for this thing that I'm reviewing, because I think there is a fair amount of bias in getting some stuff for free. Now, I'm not going to drink a shitty beer that I got for free and be like, yeah, this stuff is mind blowing. You should go get some. I'd be like, I got this for free, and I can understand why, because there's no way they can sell this shit.
Right, and that's such a good point, because I was thinking about when Jeff sent the photo of the crowler with it said podcast dudes on the side. I was like, that's fucking dope, dude. I was like, we're on our way. We're on our way. And I was like, but wait. And I went a million miles away for like a second, and I was like, is this what people who are endorsed have to deal with? Like, they just got to say something that sucks is good?
Yes.
Like, I'd be like, fuck that. But you would.
I will never do that.
I bet I could pay you $5 million to say something that I do all the time. I normally would annoy the shit out of you. Is actually hilarious.
Let's go back to our last podcast. This stupid amount of money.
Yeah.
Never say never, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you're stupid enough to pay me $5 million for a fake review, I will do that.
Right.
And then when I cash that check and it's actually deposited, I will be
Lies.
like, I totally fucking...
Yeah,
they totally bought me for that one.
No, it is. It's nice to it's nice that they set that aside for us over at Rent House, but it's good that we paid for it because it's we are here to review that beer and we want to talk about it. Granted, we've gushed about them enough throughout the entire episode,
and that was the thing while I was there. It's I didn't get his name, so my apologies there. But yeah, this guy's like, I really don't think I should be charging you for this.
Yeah, he's like, please take it, sir.
So yeah, Drew, I mean, to me, hooking us up with getting some or stuff that was sold out.
Yeah.
It was still on tap. It was still on the board, but it said no fills. So just you making sure we got some of this was all I needed. I mean, I don't need that stuff for free.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying I won't accept free things.
We're not above it, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to send us free stuff, hoppycraftsmen@gmail.com. Hit us up.
We will drink plenty of your beer for free when we're actually podcasting over there.
There you go.
Yeah. No, if anybody's if anybody got any people in Virginia, I got enough the glassware from the Vale, but we can't get any beers from them. So send a few of those.
Anybody listen to the UK, if you really want to send the international shipping and send us beer, let us know. Love you guys.
The Vale?
No.
I was going to say.
UK. We have actually pretty good listenership in the UK.
Good. Oh, so perfect. Okay, yeah.
Thanks UK listeners. Perfect. We love you guys.
Go over and get some Soundwave from
That'll be our second one. We'll go to the UK and drink some pints with those guys.
Perfect.
So let's get that going.
Go over to Euston Tap. Be perfect. There's some good spots over there.
So finish up this beer.
Yep.
Overall thoughts, guys?
Delicious. Another delicious beer from Great Notion.
It's a solid 4.25.
Had a lot
of good stuff.
Had a lot of IPAs. I might actually been having too many IPAs. I don't know, but it is good.
I know. It's a turning point in this
wild.
life.
It's a good problem to have.
I feel like this is your midlife IPA crisis.
It is. I've got a lot, and I've traded a lot more recently than I haven't before. So I've got an even more influx of crazy good beers in the house. Yeah, it's tough.
I like this. This is really good.
It is good.
It's sweet, but it's actually got some bitterness to it, which is really nice too. So
yeah,
I would say 4.25, somewhere around there.
It's a solid double IPA.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good 3.5, 4. So I enjoyed it.
I like this better than the Cutting Tiles.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I did too.
Yep,
I did too. And now we have one. We have another taster coming up.
So yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah, this is a good one.
We'll come back.
Speaking of disclaimers,
yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, this. You know what?
We got it for free. You guys made it. I kind of angel invested in it.
Yeah. And guess what? There was no way we weren't gonna like it.
Fucking solid 5 out of 5 before we.
Yeah. I told we were driving up and I was like, man, it's gonna really fucking blow if this sucks. We're like, yeah. Well, can we get a fill of this? Ooh, yeah. Can we get a fill of our alternative facts instead? No, that was very good. So we'll have to go get some glasses. Let's
get some beers of this and we'll come back.
Continue.
Okay, hey guys, we're back.
Oh, we're back
from the break.
What up? All right, we got a new beer, and we're real pumped about this one.
Yeah,
because we turned back the clocks to how long ago did we go to Flagstaff to brew this with the Historic Brewing Company? About a month.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yep. We did a Kickstarter with them. Jeff was in on that originally.
Indiegogo.
I wasn't even on that. Jeff.
I did not brew this beer,
but he helped pay for it.
But I was an angel investor.
Yeah, he helped pay to make it, and that's just as important today in the brewing world. So, we went up there yesterday. We brewed a month ago. We covered that. We brewed up there with Brandon and David, and like I said, we had our silent investor here, Jeff, to help us get there.
Yep.
And went up yesterday and take it from there, Chris.
Dude, it was really nice. We worked with Kristen, the brewer, and we actually figured out a time that was going to work for everybody to come up there, and it happened to just be this last weekend, June 3rd. So
honestly, before we even get into this, Historic was just the tops, man. Historic treated us so well through this whole thing. It was crazy. They made it. We paid $50 a person for this.
Right, what? It was $200 in total, which was
they took care of us.
Like I said, when I saw that price, I was one of the first things I saw was name a beer.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's a pretty good one. And then I saw brew a beer with us, and then you can help us name it. I was like,
perfect. That's my
level.
Two.
That's my level right there. I have to do it right. There's no way I get best of both worlds. So we did that. We went up there. We brewed all those beers. they've been phenomenal to work with. Kristen's been great. We actually, she's been messaging me, like texting me back and forth, emailing me and stuff. So on the way up there, she actually was unable to make it because we're going to another festival. So she kind of sent her like, hey, it's been really, it tastes phenomenal. Hope you guys really like it. Mm-hmm. During the tasting, she actually was messaging me. She's like, how'd you guys like it? What did everybody else think? She's super into it. So that was really nice.
Amazing people at Historic.
Yeah, honestly, they did a really good job. People. So can't say enough about them for sure.
No, and it's really good beer.
It is.
It's a good beer. But hang on, let's take it from we've got our way to work through here.
Right. Well, first let's go through the information about the beer.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the can here.
So the can itself, they actually crowled a few cans for us to take it with us.
6 of them.
Unfortunately, you cannot do that. You can only go to the brewery and taste this beer. Yep. So if you're listening to this and you want some of this beer, go to Historic, go to one of their any locations, the 2 in Flagstaff.
Go get it.
It's not Wickenburg, by the way. I want to say it's Williams is the other one.
Yeah.
Start with a W. We were close. That still almost be wrong. Don't quote me on that. It might not be Williams. So you have to go one of the locations to be able to drink this beer. It's a small batch, so 3 barrels. It is called Hazy Days of Summer IPA.
I like
Hazy
what they
Days of Summer Spa.
Yeah. Which when Kristen was texting me, she auto-corrected it, or actually it auto-corrected for her instead of IPA. It's at Spa, so we know what she does a lot, right?
Yeah,
instead of
spa,
IPAs
all the time.
So many spas.
No, I honestly like the name Hazy Days of Summer, but you know what I really like? Hazy Day IPA.
Yeah.
I like that name even better. So hopefully the guy who wrote that on there, hopefully they just go with that.
The bartender Austin,
cool
dude,
super good dude.
Good dude. Took good care of us.
Took care of us.
Yep. And Hazy Day IPA, and I couldn't be any prouder of it. I mean, I know that Kristen and them, they came up with they really worked with you and us a little bit on what we wanted to do, but they came up with the ingredients.
Well, I think we were,
I think they should be proud of themselves.
We were the visionary. This is what we wanted. These are the ideas that we came in.
Visionary, right?
And then they helped us kind of get some of the finer details in what actually we wanted to get into it. So
I don't want to be too full of myself, but they should brew this again.
They should
brew this again. They should brew a larger batch of it, and they need to put this out there because I think they'll enjoy some of the IPA give back that a lot of people really enjoy IPAs. So
ABV 8.3,
yep,
90
IBUs. For any of you people real concerned about that kind of information, it's a heavy hitter.
So here's the only thing though is our standpoint, and we wanted was, these beers we've been drinking.
We were shooting for a double. We were shooting for a good sized double IPA.
So a little under 8-9%, not higher on the IPA scale. 90 IBUs, I think, is very high for our New England style IPA that we wanted, which is going to be super low IBUs, but good hoppiness to it. So
it is better today, Jeff.
But I'm going to say this.
This is a different beer today than it was on tap yesterday. I'm going to get that out there.
This probably isn't what I was expecting it to be or I wanted it to be, but I still really enjoy this beer a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. I mean, this isn't a juicy bomb, fucking low IBU, fucking super citrusy, hoppy, fruity
beer. It has to be
beer.
Full of oats and lupulin powder to do that. And we did a little of that stuff, but
right. Still hazy. They actually, one of the other people actually did this Indiegogo brewed one as well. It was called an unknown IPA. I want to say
super unknown.
I
didn't try that. Was that was one of the other ones over there?
Yeah, it was one of the other.
Oh shit! I didn't get to try
ones that they did. That one wasn't as hazy as this one was.
Oh really?
And actually, the bartender Austin said that he liked this one better. He might just be saying that because we were there, but
yeah, no, that's the right thing to say.
And then the other one was the big beer, which was kind of a Prairie Bomb
rip-off.
Or
by that rip-off recreation.
That's what you're looking for either.
It was an homage.
Clone. There you go. something in
clone.
No, rip off. Fuck that.
I still feel
they ripped it off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that's still just a rip off to anybody who feels
unoriginal. Fucking
Well, and call us unoriginal. At least we decided that was a good name for it. Unoriginal.
It was one of the original names for the beer.
But hey, you know what? It was all about. I'm surprised that they were into that. Historic themselves. If I was Historic, I would be using this as an opportunity to produce beers that maybe we could continue with, like this one. But hey, whatever. Like Austin said yesterday, chili beers aren't my thing. Pepper beers aren't my thing, and for me personally, they are not my thing.
So the only thing that I'll say this: the haze was it summer?
The haze craze,
Hazy Days of Summer.
Oh, okay,
right. That's what the name of the beer is. The list of names that we sent to them.
Probably all suck dick, to be perfectly fair to them.
You know, I don't want to really say any of them because I actually want to use some of these first, maybe some homebrews or whatever. But I will say this: that name, Haze, was in some of the names, but Summers or Days was not in any of them.
Well, we've heard different stories about how some of their names get beers. Some of the beers get names.
You know, and that's whatever.
And that's all good.
But that was the one thing I say again.
When you own a company, you get to name beer whatever you want.
But we paid for a service, and then we did not get that service. So
historic motherfuckers.
What I said to Kristen was like, somebody might get a strongly worded letter. Yeah. And then I thought right after, I was like, never mind, I have time for that shit. So never mind. I don't really give a shit that much.
That was great.
Yeah. I was like, never mind. It's not going to happen.
Because through this whole thing, me and Chris will see each other at work and it's like, hey, did you guys come up with a name? Chris will be like, yeah, I sent him like a whole list. It'll be interesting to see which one they come up with. So yesterday I was like, was this on the list? He's like, no, this wasn't on the list.
And also, to be fair to them, if we could have come up with one good one and been like, that's the name.
Right. I guess,
then we definitely have a foot to stand on being like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We
sent them like 20 names. We obviously didn't know what to name it, unfortunately.
Right. Well, there were so many people involved in it. So it's really hard to without like taking a ballot or doing some voting system. We didn't want to get into that shit anyways. Some kind of fucking like
Hazy Days of Summer, whatever. Name it.
It's cool and better than Spa.
End of the day, with all of the beer we drank there yesterday for free.
Oh yeah, I could never be upset with a store.
Nope, call it whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, like I said, that's the only thing that
I hope they keep making it. And I hope they make a buck off of it.
I really do too. I hope they do. I like it. You guys want to go through each stage, kind of what you guys thought? So
do it up.
Let's first of all, appearance. It actually is a little more amber.
Yeah, it is a little more amber with the haze.
But yeah, a little darker.
It's hazy, but it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like a opaque New England IPA.
It's not orange juice.
It's not orange juice. It's not grapefruit juice. It's definitely a little more reddish orange kind of color to it.
It looks more like a hef than it does a New England IPA.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
darker hef maybe. Yeah, it's still pretty dark. Aromas. What are you guys getting from it?
Alcohol, freaking the aroma on this alcohol and that's the first thing I noticed yesterday. It's like, what, where'd this thing clock in at? Because this is a boozy IPA, and that's, not that it's a bad thing. It's still got that balance, but I will be interested to crack my crowler open in 3 or 4 weeks to see if that's mellowed out a bit.
Right.
It's not bad. It doesn't detract from the overall quality, I think, but this is definitely a boozy IPA.
Yeah, it's I get booze. I get maybe some stone fruit, maybe some papaya, some little tropical there-ness to it. But
there's some tropical sweetness in there.
Sweetness for sure. Just even the nose of the beer. Then Nate, do you have anything to?
My apologies. No, I was looking at the Hoppy Craftsmen Instagram. My apologies for the fans.
Whoa, Nate.
I couldn't agree with the boozy sentiment anymore. Are we on to taste?
No. Just we're aroma wise. What do you? Same.
Again, I was just like, I was blown away at how boozy it smelled, but it's only an 8.3, and again, I think cans kind of promote smells like that. I don't know personally. I can't remember what I smelled yesterday.
I was surprised to see it clock in at 90 IBU. And again, I know we're the guys that are saying IBUs are arbitrary, but this does not taste like a 90 IBU IPA to me. This seems much lower, and again, maybe it's that balance. Well, I think maybe it's the hop bill that they use, but this,
So we asked Austin when he actually poured it for us. We actually asked him what the ABV was, and then quickly after asked him what the IBU was, just for fucking shits and giggles. And I think Nate guessed you were right around 50, 60 said IBUs, I think, right?
For this beer?
Yeah, for this beer. When you
it was low, much lower than it should have been.
And then when he told it, he came back and was like, "Oh,
fucking tell that story."
8.3.
You enjoyed that story, didn't you? Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Nate's 0 for 2.
Brandon Richter wins again.
I was not 0 for 2, and okay, listen.
10 IBU off is still off.
Nah, dude.
And fair enough. But how would I ever look at an owner brewer and be like, "Oh, you don't know more than me"? Like, clearly, you probably know a little more than me.
No, it's just funny. It's
absolutely.
I was with you though. When you said 50, I was like, that seems pretty good. That seems 50, 60 IBUs. I was in your same boat, dude. So I'm not fucking
I agree.
throwing you to the curb or anything. But
and he said 90, I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was way surprised by 90 IBUs. And then the afterwards, I was like, that's a little higher than I thought it was going to be, and we wanted it to be for sure. But that's That's the great thing about brewing beer, right? Is that it's always an experiment. It's always going to be changed different. That's why we talked about it a little bit with Richter the last podcast. Is it a science or is it an art, right? And I love that he brought that up and he talked about that because, it's everybody can follow a recipe, but even if they do, it's not going to be the same. We can all brew the exact same recipe beer, and your beer, and my beer will all be fucking totally different.
Oh yeah. There's a way to make every beer a little different.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's technique. It's friggin' that's the thing. And that's why brewers themselves, that's why they're solely sought after by a lot of people, is because the things they do and their style and whatever else definitely will affect the taste of beer. So
absolutely. And it is, I think they did a great job. I forget, of course, I can't believe I forgot the guy we worked with on the day we brewed.
Zach the Muffin Man, is what they call him.
Zach the Muffin Man. Well, Zach was a super good dude, and Kristen was a really nice lady. It was really nice to meet those guys, and just working with Historics, a bunch of class acts. Honestly, they're a bunch of good people making good beer, so that was a lot of fun. Yep. What a killer Indiegogo, and way more than our money's worth out of that one.
Yep,
whether we got to name it or not.
I'd be happy to drink this beer. This would be one of those beers where you go to a brewery and you have your staples. This would be the first thing I ordered every time I went to Historic if it was on a regular rotation.
Right,
and I hope they make it again. I hope
well,
it's successful for them. I hope it flies off the shelves. All bias aside,
this is a legit beer.
Yeah, it really
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
So I talked to Kristen. I was like, we had, thanks for everything and appreciate all the stuff. And, let's do this again. Let's not make this one time only kind of thing. Let's keep this going. We'll come up and interview them some more. We'll figure out what they're doing in the future. I mean, they're doing good things up in Historic. I mean, they're, JBF winners. So,
they've got the barrel program now. They're not screwing around. They're doing cool stuff.
So we'll definitely be hitting them back up in the future and let's see what they're doing. So, it's good stuff.
Yeah, no. So enjoyed that.
I would ask you guys your overall opinion of this beer, but I'm sure it's just fives all around. So it's not even
five out of 5.
Yeah.
Best fucking IPA I've ever had in my life.
Pretty good.
All right. Yep. So the only other news that I want to talk about today, and we're kind of a little late to the party, but we haven't actually sat down in this kind of manner for a little bit here. So the brewery itself actually did an offshoot of, they're actually starting making IPAs now. So the brewery from California, who's known for probably their big stouts, dessert kind of beers, some sours they make and stuff. They are actually making an offshoot beer company. That's actually what it's called, Offshoot Beer Company.
Is this the sale we were talking about?
They're making IPAs. So they actually made 2 IPAs that were actually a sale released. It was Cart and the Horse. So each one was different. One was called Cart, and one was called Horse. But who knows what came first?
Did the cart come before the horse?
I'm guessing so.
And we're talking about this because they sold to a private investment group.
Right. So I want to get that net right.
Not to ruin that.
So good side and then bad side, right? So good news, the brewer's making IPAs, guys.
Right.
The bad news, they're now not actually technically independent beer anymore.
And now, and we were talking about that. This investment group, are they known for anything else? Do they own
the investment group themselves. Well, let me
please
hold let's pump the brakes for a second.
Yeah.
I want to
pump the brakes.
I wanted to talk about their IPAs real quick.
Let's do it.
They shouldn't make IPAs.
They shouldn't.
No.
Well, you remember that Hoppy Obligations beer they had when we were there about two or 3 months ago?
Right.
How good was that beer? But it almost felt like a fuck you.
It was.
You know what I mean? They literally called it, "This is our Hoppy out," and they even. I remember from the summary on it, it said, "We don't want to, but we have to."
We have to. And they had that. That was decent. It wasn't like phenomenal by any means. I think it was really good. It was really tasty. They actually had 2 more can releases. There was called Fashionably Late IPA and Better Late Than Never IPA. So, or double IPA. Didn't try those. Tried the Cart and the Horse, which is the latest releases from their offshoot beer company, and wasn't happy at all. I think I just got the Cart. Our buddy Dave was with us. He actually got the Cart and Horse. We tried them. I tried his and he tried mine, kind of thing. Both of them kind of taste like soap. It was fucking weird, man. It was like, I don't know if maybe it was just their glasses or whatever it was, but it was just, those beers just tasted off.
I don't know. It kind of makes you wonder if that's a profile on like something that they used, because we were talking during the break where I had the grapefruit Refuge at Wilderness when we went there on Thursday for the Warp Riders release, and it wasn't bad. It didn't turn me off. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but we all know Refuge, like the back of our hands.
Oh yeah.
So it's like grapefruit refuge. Sign me up. And I hit it, and it wasn't like it wasn't like a super punchy soapy taste. But the first thing that hit me was I was like, this is kind of soapy, and I because you and I had talked about that IPA on your trip to California, and I was like, I wonder if it's something with the hops. I wonder if it's something with how they make it, because and again it was I mean there's IPAs can have that grapefruity character. So I was just wondering, is it from the grapefruit? Because Refuge has never tasted soapy to me.
And I had that beer as well.
It kind of get me thinking.
Well, I know.
It was good.
Antiseptic is kind of an off flavor in a beer, or something's wrong with the beer or the lines or whatever. Something's contaminated. It wasn't that. It wasn't like this medical kind of taste to it. It literally tasted like floral soap kind of like. It was just like
the flavors just didn't
right. So I mean, it could be from the hot profile they use, or it could have been whatever. It just didn't taste good. I was not a huge fan of it, and I drank it, and I was like, not a big fan of it. And I looked at Dave, and Dave tried his, and he was like, I'm like, what does it taste like? He's like, soap. I was like, exactly. That's exactly what I thought it tastes like too. So
interested now to kind of get that feel for that, because I had that beer with Jeff yesterday, and I mean, I didn't get the soap. I didn't like the Grapefruit Refuge, but I just tasted very tart as a result. And you would think that would be good, but not in the way that was not
a good way.
Yeah. So
I like my Refuge.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't hate the grapefruit thing, but if side by side,
I say it wasn't soap up front or in. It was more of the aftertaste. Like when I stopped drinking it, and I was like, licking my lips. I was like, that tastes like soap.
Yeah,
it was more of the after kind of just. So yeah, it could be something they were brewing in or something they were doing.
But yeah,
who knows? But
so yeah, they're making hoppy beers.
That being said, they're making hoppy beers. They're also actually now controlled or majority controlled by an umbrella corporation, which
sounds evil.
Yeah, right. No,
they're gonna put the T-cell virus in their beer. Just see it already.
I'm not really. It's a Castilla people, like it's a partnership, right? So it's basically a partnership. Patrick Rue and his father Mike Rue, who actually own the brewery, decided to make actually a board. At this point, they actually sold 3 seats of the board to another company. That company actually controls 3 seats of the total 5. The other 2 being Patrick and his father Mike. So this the other company actually owns part of the brewery. So they are known for being an investment firm, putting money or injecting money into small businesses or businesses, mostly like cosmetic and ice cream and some other food type things, not necessarily any kind of beer or liquors or anything. So this one's got me kind of on the fence, right? Because I'm like, it's not necessarily big beer. It's not necessarily a liquor company or some wine company. But
it's not some big conglomerate,
right?
They're doing something to capitalize on it.
They bought them for a reason.
It's a financial expansion.
Yeah, they bought them. They bought them for only reasons to add another dollar sign somewhere.
Right. So if really what it comes down to is that they just wanted a quick injection of money, this was the best way to do it, and it was the best way to do it without being without selling out technically.
It's
right?
not about making. It's not about making more beer. It's not making about better beer. It's about making more money.
Right.
I agree with that. I don't think that. I mean, we go back to the Wilderness guys. They talked about if you need an injection of money and you're in a successful brewery, it's there.
Right. Well,
there are ways to get what you need. This was about money,
right? No, and I 100% agree with that.
In my opinion, what the fuck do I know? It's from the outside looking in.
On a grand scale, when I stopped buying the brewery's beers because of this.
No, make it easier for me to get Chocolate Rain.
Right.
Chocolate Rain.
And I actually read a whole article, and they kind of went into the reason why this buyout happened, and it talked a lot about direct sales to the public and how the brewery is really good at. They really are. They're really good at direct sales to the public. But you think about how their levels work, right? So you have the Preservation Society, you have the Hoarder Society, these different these groups that they created. And they're really good at first, right? Because if you get into it and then you actually start hoarding some beers and they actually want to like invite you to the next level, right? The problem is that the entry level people aren't as in flux as they used to be.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's just not craft beer people by, what's nature hot. Or whatever, is that what's hot, what's new, what's going on. And if you make me wait in a fucking line to get into a fucking queue to fucking like buy your fucking beer, I will do that up until a point.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that fucking point happens, I'm fucking gone. Yeah. Right.
If I'm spending money to be part of some super society and I'm waiting or I'm questioning my ability to get a rare release, I'm done.
Well, that's the thing is like, if I'm sitting there and I'm paying money and I'm waiting for releases to happen and I'm looking left and right and fucking other fucking breweries are fucking releasing beers fucking left and right and I'm not part of I don't have to be part of their society to get those beers. Why the fuck am I in this one?
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
I'm getting off this fucking bus and I'm going on the fucking that bus over there and that bus and that bus and that bus. It doesn't make any sense, right? Why the fuck would I stay on this? And so that's kind of the problem is that their influx of new members is kind of fluctuating.
Growth is slow.
Right. Yeah. For them, for that point. So,
but let me ask you, this company that right. bought, who else do they own?
It was like an ice cream company. I'll scroll down through the.
Do they own a brewery?
No, they own no other liquor or beer people in general. They are an investment
still not
firm.
Good. It's still not good. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not. So they're still a craft brewery. Right. Or are they not?
Well, they're a craft brewery, but they're not independent.
They're not independent.
Right. At this point, they're not independent.
Well, I guess they're fucking independent if they only if the owners are only owned by one brewery. Only own one brewery.
I mean, yes and no, but they have a majority stake by an outside party.
Right. Brewery fans shouldn't be excited about this. And I mean,
I'm taking a wait and see approach because it's not a big beer buyout. It's a big kind of cash flow.
It's a money influx for sure.
Maybe an expansion project. So I mean,
that's true.
I'm not. I don't pray at the altar of the brewery. They have some good stuff. I've had Chocolate Rain. I've had Black Tuesday. They're good. I mean, they're really good. But I breweries take it or leave it to me.
It's funny. So like, if you would have asked me a year ago about the brewery, and you would have said that, I've been like, no, you're wrong. There's not right. I mean,
fuck you, Jeff.
Right. They make some great sours, make some great fucking like,
I would agree.
Dessert beers, right? It was awesome.
I know we need to keep Nate away from their beers on New Year's Eve.
Right.
Oh man, that's true. What did I drink that night?
I don't know. It was.
That's
brutal.
true. It was from the brewery. That's true. That's the most drunk I've ever been and will be ever again. I never would drink more than my life that night.
This last trip though to California. So if you've ever been to Brewery Turo, right? Or actually, I haven't been to the brewery, so I'm not sure how their stuff works. But the Brewery Turo, they actually give you there's a list of beers they have in the front and the back side.
Right.
You have to choose 12 of their flight.
Super nice little place.
Right. It's super nice and it's a great place to go into.
Really small, really nice little place.
And here's the thing: is that the number of beers they had, and I could get 12 beers. Or was it 12 like little tasters, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. The amount of tasters I chose and granted, there's going to be always going to be some beers you're not really you're like, oh, not my, whatever. I went to Dark Sky, right? Don't love all the beers you got, but there's definitely a lot more beers you liked than you didn't. This last round at the brewery, there was less beers that I liked more than actually the beers I did like.
Yeah.
And I actually went back and bought 2 separate beers, just had little tasters of them. Didn't like either one of those.
And to be fair,
someone at Dark Sky got a huge deal on coffee recently. That's all I know.
Oh yeah.
Coffee flavored everything.
It's insane. But I just,
and that's funny. I mean, you could see some brewer just being like, "I like this. I like how we're using this, and that's cool." But to be fair to the brewery,
right?
Sometimes you just don't dig shit. People don't dig your shit.
It's true enough,
and that's all good. But what makes you decide you need more money to what's going to provide? What is more money going to do for you? And with these guys and these people getting purchased, these breweries getting purchased, I look at the brewery. The Trio, is that what it's called? Is that where we went?
Yeah, Brewery Turo.
The Brewery Turo. Where we went, that place was so small and so awesome, but you just wonder to yourself, why was that not good enough?
Right.
Why was it not good enough to their 2 or 3 locations that the brewery had? Why isn't that good enough? Why are these guys selling out to more money when it looks like they have a good thing going? And I don't know. Other than money is nice. I mean, I could never fucking argue with that.
They literally have a whole thing on their site talking about, basically this is why we did it and this is our, whatever.
I haven't read that. Is the basic gist that we're not selling out?
But one of the last paragraphs says, it starts off with, "We are still an independent craft brewery."
Yeah, so then yes.
Patrick will remain as his current role as CEO, and he and Mike will continue to own a significant portion of the brewery, the Brewery to Row, and Offshoot Beer Company.
Yet we will have no decision-making skills outside of our votes that are already built in as an outnumber.
Right, but that's the problem is that they say that stuff.
Built it in.
Right, and we have 2 of the 5 fucking votes on the fucking board.
So no matter what, they could always outdo you.
Exactly.
Why are you telling us like that's a fucking good thing?
Right.
We can do math, bitch.
Yeah, I'm not great at math, but I can do fucking. I have one hand. I can fucking count that many. It's not fucking retarded, right?
So good on them. But I guess I just get I get the mythical, like the dream, right? Like own a small pub and make that pub great. Like if we owned Wilderness, make it wonderful and just stay like that. But they like to grow. These places like to grow.
So in this. I'll say this: big beers in for the long game, right? And a lot of these craft breweries don't have a very deep, long plan. They probably have a 5-year plan.
Well, they
maybe.
Don't realize that their logo. They're buying their logo.
Right.
It's just like fucking Tommy Boy.
Right.
Because or whatever. Callahan's a fucking premium name, and I want the box. I need the name on the box. Right. Wicked Weed, 10 Barrel. Those are killer logos, and they've built great branding into their brands.
Yep.
And branding into the brands, branding into their lines.
Right.
And that's just good for them. I mean, the Raspberry Crush Sour they do. I look at that can and I want to guzzle it.
Right.
But now I'm like, I won't fucking buy that shit. I don't want to buy that shit. But I guess, and so all that is to say is it's a bummer that these guys don't realize that all they want is their brand. They want that they want that little logo. Well, and maybe this company could be way different.
I think, but
these other ones went by the wayside. They just wanted to put their name on a logo and they wanted to put them in a stadium.
The brewery itself, the least, like I said, this one feels a little different.
Agreed.
Sort of, but it's still like
it should be alarming. Would we not be like? Would we, as if we were like, just
if they were selling actually fucking beer? If this other company was selling beer or selling liquor, would we fucking be up in arms about it?
If Wilderness got bought by some random investment group, would we not be like? Would we not rage?
Did another investment company invest into fucking Wilderness?
Yeah. Would we not rage quit life at that point? You know what I mean?
I'd be a little upset. I mean,
I'd be fucking butt hurt.
Well, and
I'd be done.
It's. I have a. I like the brewery, and it's one of those fucking like things that not a lot of people know or understand in Arizona, and whatever. But
each their own.
Each their own, and it's one of those things where it's like the brewery's fucking the brewery, man. Yeah, this is amazing. They make crazy good beers, and they have the experimental fucking wild ales and blah blah.
Just like you said, the brewery is the brewery, and how did the brewery become the brewery? By making by branding.
Yeah,
like a motherfucker.
And so they literally they keep going into this, and they talk about basically the reason they did this is they'll help us become financially and operationally with our future plans. Thanks for the partnership. We'll be able to explore more opportunity both in direct to consumer sales, which they're really good at already. But let me say this: by far, they are probably the best at the direct consumer sales. Right? They're fucking like. Preservation Society, like Reserve Society, like that alone, right? Little society type of thing. They're really good at it. They are amazing at it.
But yeah,
they want to expand on it and become whatever. That's, I don't know why they become better at it.
Alienate your customers, your little sales societies aren't going to be so good anymore.
Well, exactly. It doesn't make any sense. And then also that in our 29 state distribution footprint and implement international enhancements to our production and packaging.
Don't give a fuck.
So
fucking care less.
Right. So they're talking about, basically
why the fuck do I care if you can get your beer in England? I want you to provide good beer to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
as one guy's random opinion.
Well, it's selfish because it's here.
Absolutely,
but
totally. But England's got their brewers providing to them locally, and that's kind of like what beer is about,
right?
Providing to your community.
Yeah, community and regional. What I mean? Yeah, I mean it makes more sense.
Beer is for your community, so don't worry about it. I've been to London. They're all set.
Yeah, for sure.
They're fucking all set.
I think that this hasn't been. I haven't seen any like at this point as much outrage as Wicked Weeds was or anything else was for some other type of thing.
It is way different, but
it is different.
But it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't feel good.
I just put them in a brewery that I love, and I would be like, that doesn't feel right.
Well, you know what? I would say this is that I won't stop buying their beers, but if I do buy one of their beers, I'm going to feel dirty about it.
Oh yeah.
What it comes down to.
My buddy had one of those 10-barrel. Just to speak, he had one of those 10-barrel sours. I was like, fuck, that looks good. I need to get me one of those. But I was like, that feels wrong.
Feels wrong.
Anyway, I agree. It is.
And we can, like I said, we can go into this fucking like 1,000 fucking times. But
send us some pink snow and we'll get over it.
No shit.
No shit.
But
so yeah.
All right, guys.
It was a good episode. It was full of great beers. Jeff, it's really nice to have you here. We'll be doing this long term.
Yeah, for sure, man.
This is the crew for now, and it'll be fun.
It's great to be here, and
until Jeff dies or we replace him,
find someone better.
Yeah.
Jeff's Roughnecks, dude. There we go.
Again, this is the greatest thing ever. It's sit around and drink beer and talk about beer. And someone was asking me about this, like, hey, you're doing the podcast with the guys. What's that? It's like, yeah, I mean, you call it a podcast now. I used to call that Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Seriously, that used to be Papago over a bunch of beers on a Saturday.
Well, and seriously, it's funny. So that's when people why'd you start a podcast? I was like, because we literally talk about this all the time. Because
we were already recording one without a bunch of mics around.
Exactly. That's my thought was that we literally this is what we normally do anyways. We meet up or talk or whatever we do.
Yeah,
we used to have microphones doing it. So
it's a lot of fun to be doing it.
So
until next time,
guys, where can we find us?
At Hoppy Craftsmen. Instagram is popping right now. Get on there. We're going to be doing a giveaway for 1,000. We're just figuring it out.
Yep.
We just need to figure out what the deets on that.
We're
getting close though.
Local brews for sure.
Yep.
Gonna be in there.
Something from Arizona is going to be
swag
in there.
maybe in there.
Yep.
Some
we're gonna
Hoppy Craftsmen stickers for sure.
Yep. We're going to figure it out. So that's coming. So get on the Hoppy Craftsmen Instagram.
Facebook
as well.
If you want to get in touch with us and actually set up a podcast or record anything with us or send us beer, hit us up actually on our Gmail, which is hoppycraftsmen@gmail.com.
And if and that's not just breweries, that's
anybody.
That's anybody. I mean, we'd love to hear from anybody. If you feel like you've got something to say,
tell us.
Let's know.
We'd love to hear from people. If you have iTunes, go to iTunes and leave us a review. That's actually how this actually keeps going. Review us.
And 1,000 ways to watch us to listen to us on Android. So if you need me to tell you how to do that,
any of your favorite podcast fucking applications can find us.
Yeah,
we're on them. So
enjoy it.
Till next time, guys. I'm Chris.
I'm Nate.
Jeff.
Thanks for listening.
Later, guys.